Okay, staying with the What's On stuff, and the AVA Festival is back in Belfast on the famous historic Titanic Slipways. It runs between the 2nd and the 4th of June. Sarah McBriar is the brains behind it, and I'm pleased to say she joins us in the studio. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So it's that exciting time of year again, time for a great festival in Belfast, and I believe there's going to be something like 10,000 people coming to see a whole lot of acts.
Yeah, 10,000 people, 2 days, and it's in 2 weeks, so it's all hands to the deck at the minute.
So tell us the idea behind this festival. How did all this come about then?
So it started 9 years ago. I've been working on lots of other festivals throughout sort of a 5-year period, and I felt that Northern Ireland needed a more sort of creative, multi-stage festival that booked lots of different acts as opposed to sort of one big headline act across a number of different days. So it was taking that idea and really just growing it from the ground up. We started actually across the road at T13 in the old shipping warehouses, and that was a 2-stage festival then, one day. And then just every year it's just grown and grown and grown, and now it's no longer a baby anymore. It's full-blown teenager now.
And it's more than just music, because the audiovisual side of things is just fabulous as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of what we do. AVA stands for audiovisual arts, so we work with visual artists on both bespoke shows with artists and then also just across our main stage. Last year was the first year we did Titanic Slipways, and we built this huge, it almost looks like a huge TV screen. It's like this big AV spectacular.
Yeah.
And we had sort of artists come through with their own shows, and then we also brought on an amazingly talented team called Algorithm that create lots of sort of bespoke shows as well for the festival. So and then we've actually launched a new stage called the Pump House.
Okay.
And that's more lighting and more visual led. So Over Mono, who's a sort of big electronic duo, they're doing their live show, which is going to be amazing. They're on that stage.
Last year it was streamed as well to something like 15 million people, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we were the first to bring Boiler Room 9 years ago to Belfast, and it's funny because at the time when I was pitching to them, so they're an online broadcaster, at the time when I was pitching to them, they were going all over the world, but they were based in London. I said, why aren't you coming over to Belfast? And they were like, there's not the right opportunity or whatever. And I said, okay, well, I can give you the best Northern Irish and Southern Irish acts, and I can put you underneath the Harlan and Wolff crane, and I don't think you're going to get a better backdrop than that. So they couldn't say no, and then that's it. They came and they've never gone, and we're one of the few festivals now that they've done every single year for 9 years, and it's so popular online because the thing about Belfast is it's like the crowd and the energy. Do you know, everyone talks about the acts, but also one of the biggest acts is the atmosphere and the crowd. So yeah, I think they capture that really, really well, and people just absolutely love it.
And you've done events all over the world, so you know how special the Belfast audiences are.
Yes, and we have artists that they're dying to play the festival because they want that experience. So yeah, I mean, it's totally different everywhere you go. But yeah, I mean, there's something very special about the energy here, I think.
Definitely. Tell us about some of the big events that you've worked on over the years. You've done Glastonbury, haven't you?
Yeah, I was assistant to a producer at Block 9, which is one of the fields at Glastonbury. They have 38, it's almost like 38 mini festivals. Glastonbury's like one big of 38. So yeah, I worked on that. So that was a big experience, an eye-opener for me before I started AVA, and I learned a lot through doing that, yeah.
You worked in Manchester as well?
Yep, I was in Manchester for 6 years, and I worked on MIF, Manchester International Festival. I worked with the Warehouse Project team as well, and then Man City, which has nothing to do with music, but it was a big sort of, entertainment and obviously football, so that was an amazing experience too.
What about your background? How did you get into all this? Did you have to go and study, or did it just something you fell into?
I did both, really. I mean, I went to Manchester to study, and the reason why I picked Manchester, partly because of the course, but the music scene was so unique there, and it was something that really excited me. So I went there, and so a lot of the jobs I was doing sort of alongside studying or alongside a job, because with festivals and music, you really kind of have to get your boots on the ground and get your experience that way. So yeah, that was kind of across those years that I did that.
And is the music industry changing? Because for many years it was quite a male predominantly industry, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would say it's still quite a male predominant industry, like many industries, and I think it is really important that changes. And I think from the years that I've been doing this, when we started to where we are now, you know, a proud moment for me this year is it's females closing the main stage on our festival. That's never happened where both days are closed. So that's like a massive thing for us. You know, we've got Peggy closing the Friday night, and then Orla and Sally, one's from Derry, one's from Belfast, are closing the Saturday night. So that's changing a lot on the artist side. But yeah, I think it's really important for role models, you know, and I hope that like me running a festival helps encourage the next generation of female organisers to take the leap. And it is changing for sure, it is changing. I wouldn't say it's the same as what it was when I joined, but yeah, always more space for more women, I think.
And it's great to see Belfast getting these events that kind of stands up with the rest of the world now as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say AVA is seen as a sort of an international festival. We get a lot of international audiences. And having the broadcast part of that as well helps sort of push out the message much further. So yeah, it's great to see. And like, you know, me starting AVA was sort of born out of a want for something like this to happen here. So yeah, we've had really good support from the artists and from the city as well. Like the city's been really supportive, so onwards.
So this is going to continue, but is there something in your mind maybe down the line you'd love to do something a lot bigger or try to compete with this?
In Belfast?
In Belfast, yeah.
I wouldn't want to compete with it. I think just continue to grow it. You know, we're 10 years next year, so we're actually already in artist discussions for next year, which is mental, but that is the reality. So yeah, we've got some very exciting things planned already.
Brilliant. Okay, so it is back, Titanic Slipways, 2nd until the 4th of June. Yeah. If people want tickets, where do they go to for that?
So avafestival.com, you can buy a weekend ticket or a day ticket as well.